Hi everyone, welcome to Crafting with Giulia. I'm Giulia and I'm so glad you tuned in today. I'm so excited for today's video because it's part of a DIY challenge hosted by 6 Kids and a Glue Gun, Crafty Cove, Mama Can Make It, The Rusted Willow, and Maxine Loves Crafts. It's a Christmas decor challenge and the theme is either vintage or woodlands. Now I do love vintage, but I went with the woodlands theme. The playlist link is in the description box below. Check them out and tell them I sent you. My first DIY is this cute little snowbird amid the snowy forest. Leave me a comment and let me know what you think. If you enjoy my video, please hit the like button and leave me a comment. I love to get feedback from my viewers. Also, I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel and ring the bell so you can be notified of all my newly released videos. Also, feel free to follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and I invite you to join my Facebook group called Crafting with Giulia's Creative Community, where you can be part of my crafting family. All of those links are in the description below this video. So this little guy here starts out with 2 styrofoam balls. So we have a ball that is 2.5 inches and 1 3/4 inches. So I am just going to take a little bit off the tops of both balls using my styrofoam cutter. So I'm just going to cut just the top to make it flat on top so that the 2 balls can sit on top of each other. Okay, so let me just turn that off. Okay, so I am going to now glue these 2 pieces together. Okay, next we are going to need a sock, a ped sock, and we're just going to put it right over the balls. Okay, then I'm going to grab a rubber band and put it around the body. And then I'm going to grab another rubber band and put it around the top of the head. Make sure it's nice and tight. And we can just cut this part off. Okay, now we're going to make the wings. So I'm going to grab a piece of white felt and I'm just going to make a little wing. So I'm going to come around. Okay, and we're going to glue that to the body. Like that. Now we're going to make the face. So I'm just going to fold it in half. And I'm just going to make a little face like that. And we're going to put it on right there. Okay, then with the yellow felt, we're going to make a beak. So I'm just going to make a triangle. And we're going to roll it up. Put a little glue in there and just roll it up. And this is going to be our beak. Okay, and we're going to put that right there. Okay, for the eyes, I am using little black brads. You can use googly eyes, but I choose to use just the black brads. And I'm just going to pop that right into the styrofoam. Make a little hole with my scissors. Okay, so far. Then I'm going to take a little bit of chalk And I'm going to just rosy up the cheeks a little bit. Okay, onto the hat. I am using this little sock that I got at Dollar Tree. It's a baby sock, and I am just going to put it over his head. Like that. Okay, and then I'm just going to snip this part off. And taking my other little rubber band, taking my rubber band, I'm just going to close up the top. Then I'm just going to make little slits. So where the heel is, I am just folding that in and gluing that over. Okay, now for the feet, let me show you how I did the feet. You're going to take some wire and you're going to fold it in half. And you want to work with some needle nose pliers. So you're going to make the middle toe, I guess you want to call it. Squeeze that closed. Then you're going to bring this part up and you're going to make the second toe. Bring that around. Squeeze it together, and then you're going to bring this part up, bring that around, and squeeze it together. So that's what it should look like. And now you're just going to take these two pieces and twist them together. And then just take this here and put it flat so that the bird can stand. Okay, so that's how it's going to look. So now with the wire you want to cut it, but it depends on how tall you want your bird to be. So I think I am going to cut it right about there. Make sure they're the same length. Okay, and now we're going to just stick it through the styrofoam. So I'm going to grab my scissors and I'm just going to make 2 holes at the bottom. And I'm going to put the wire into the hole. I want him to stand the same height, so let's make that hole a little bit deeper. And I'm going to shoot some glue in there. And hopefully he's as tall as that one. Yes. Okay. And now I'm going to make a little scarf for him. So I cut this out of black felt. And I'm just going to make little fringe at the end. And we're going to tie it around his neck. So I'm going to glue it right there. And I'm going to take this little orange button . Okay. And now we're going to glue him to a piece of wood slice that I got on Amazon. So we're going to glue him right to that wood slice. Okay, now I'm going to make these little trees to go with my birds. So I made one already. I'm going to make 3 of them. You're going to need some wood slices and these branches that I get from Dollar Tree. And we're just going to cut them. So I'm going to cut them in half because I want them to be that tall. Yeah. Then I want one to be a little bit shorter. My second DIY is this adorable little owl wanting to be a reindeer. Leave me a comment and let me know what you think. I always love getting feedback from my viewers. Okay, let's get right to what you're going to need for this project. You are going to need tan felt for the head and the body and the wings. The pattern is in a link in the description below this video. You'll find the pattern for all these pieces. So you just want to print them out on heavy cardstock and cut them out and trace them onto your fabric. So you are going to need tan felt, which I've already traced out my pattern, for the body, the head, and the wings. Then you're going to need a lighter tan felt for the antlers, which I've already traced. That's the antlers, and the belly. And you need one piece. And I marked on the pattern how many you need to cut. So the belly, you're going to cut 1 in the tan felt. Okay, antlers, same thing. Antlers, cut 2 in the tan felt. Okay, then moving on to the beak, you need some orange or yellow felt for the beak, and that's this. I've already traced that. And then the feet, I used the same felt that I used for the beak, I used for the feet. Then for the eyes, you're going to cut out 1 of these in white felt. That's the white of the eyes. You're going to cut out 2 of these in either blue or green or brown, however you want the irises, the color of the iris to be. That's what you're going to cut out for that. And then the pupil is black, and you're going to cut out 2 of these. Then you're going to need some kind of fabric to make a scarf. I am using this leftover piece that I thought matches nicely with my with the tan of my owl. You'll need a little button or some kind of decoration for the scarf. You will need some white acrylic paint to dot the eye, dot the pupil, and then you're going to need a lot of polyfill. So when I sew my pieces, I am just going, for the wing, I am going to sew all the way around, and then I'm going to just make a little slit in the back and turn it right side out and just stuff it very, very slightly, and then sew up that little seam. For the head, before I sew these 2 pieces together, I am going to sew the eyes on. So I am going to cut all these circles out, and I am going to put them on. So I'm going to put the white of the eyes on the right side of the fabric, and I am going to stitch around. So the stitches are on the right side of the fabric. So you're just going to stitch all the way around, follow the pattern. Then you're going to cut out your blue pieces, and you're going to put those on, and you will stitch around that. Then you'll put on your pupil, and you will stitch around that, and that will be the right side of that. Then you're going to turn the right sides together and then sew your owl up. Okay, and then you're going to leave a little opening at the bottom so that you can stuff it. Okay, but I'll show you after I finish that piece what that actually looks like. The belly, the belly also, I'm sorry, the belly gets cut out. That's 1 piece, gets cut out, and you're going to sew that on the right side of the owl before you put it all together. Then for the feet, you are going to cut all the way around. You're going to make just a slit in the top, and then you're going to stuff it and then close up that slit, and that's how the owl is going to sit. So that slit will be covered when you glue the owl to the feet. The beak, you want to just sew around to the point around and leave this opening so that we can stuff it a little bit, and then that is going to stay open, and that's going to get glued onto the face. Then the antlers. The antlers are going to be sewn, then you're going to turn right sides together, and then you are going to stitch around so that it is firm. It's a firm piece, and then we're going to sew them onto the head. Okay, so let me do that. Okay, so let me show you how I sewed my pieces together, starting with the feet. So I sewed all the way around, and now I cut a little slit in the bottom, and we'll do that together. So I'm going to cut a little slit by where I think I'm going to glue the top, the body. So I'm just going to take the top layer and just cut a little slit like that, and then use my fabric turning tool to turn it right side out. So this is a great little tool to have. So normally with regular fabric, you would push it right through the tube and it turns itself inside out or right side out. But the felt is a little too thick to push through the tube, but it helps me push that through so that I can turn it right side out. So that's my little fabric turning tool. I will leave a link in the description below to where I bought that on Amazon. And then just use the little chopstick thing to go around your seams and push the seams out. Okay, and then we're just going to lightly stuff that. We're going to lightly stuff it with some polyfill. So very lightly. I don't want it to be overstuffed, because then the owl will be wobbly. So we're just going to put a little stuffing in there. Okay, and then you can sew that closed if you like. You could leave it open because the body is going to sit on that, so it's really not going to matter. So that's how I did those pieces. The wings I did the same way. So I sewed all the way around and I made a little slit in the back, which we're going to do. Make a little slit toward the shoulder part because that's where you're going to glue it, because you don't want that little slit to show, obviously. So you're just going to grab the top layer, cut it with your scissor, get your fabric turning tool, and we're going to turn it. That's what's nice about this. It comes in different sizes. So we're going to put the smaller one in there, and we're going to turn it right side out. See, with the felt it's a little difficult, so we're just going to maneuver it, turn it right side out. And then with the chopstick, you're just going to go in and go around your seams. Okay, and that's the wing. So I am not going to stuff the wing. They are thick enough, being that it's a double fabric. So we are just going to glue that onto the body. All right, I already turned my beak inside out, and with the opening, I am going to just put a little dab of glue there and just seal it closed with the glue. Okay, just like that, because that's the part that's going to face his face. Okay, moving on to how I did the eyes. before you sew the head together, you want to put the eyes on the right side of the fabric. So that's what I did here. So what I did first was, that's the wrong side of the fabric. That's where I traced the head. And on the right side of the fabric, I first sewed the white part with white thread. I sewed it with the sewing machine, went around to here and then back to here. Then I put the blue on and I sewed that on top of that with blue thread. Then I put the black on and I sewed on top of that with black thread. Then for the little belly, I sewed that with tan thread that matches the tan. Okay, so now that with my right side facing the right side of the back of the fabric, the back of the owl, now we're going to sew all the way around, and I'm going to leave the bottom open so that I can stuff it. Okay, and that's how I sewed it. Okay, one very important thing that I forgot to mention, and I'm terribly sorry, I'm just so used to making this owl without the antlers. Obviously, owls don't have antlers, so that's why this is the first time I'm making with the antlers. So let me tell you how to put those on, for those of you who don't know how to do that. So you're going to take your antlers. Now this is before you sew it. Obviously, you want to pin them before you sew it. So you're going to take the right side, and you're going to put your fabric antler laying down like that. Okay, and then the other one you're going to put laying down like that. And that is going to face the right side. Then you're going to put the back of the head on. Right sides facing right sides. And then you're going to sew around with that inside. You're going to sew around, and then when you go to turn it right side out, these things will pop out on the right side. Okay? Then you're just going to stuff it and sew the bottom. Now, I did a terrible job of sewing, but that's okay because we are going to now glue them to the feet. So anyone who has trouble with this, please just leave me a comment and I will get back to you, or email me. I'm happy to help you. It's a very easy thing though. So anyway, using my fabric stuffing tool, as many of you know, this is a favorite tool of mine. I stuffed everything, and this is easy to get the stuffing into like the corners of the ears. So now we're going to put the owl together. So I'm just going to glue the feet together a little bit so that they stay, and then I'm going to glue the body onto the feet. So taking a little bit of glue, putting it right there. We're just going to glue these two pieces together. Now I did end up sewing the hole closed, as you can see. I just think it's just a much more finished piece when I do that. So I did not want to leave that open. It's up to you if you want to bother with that. So those pieces are glued, and now I'm going to glue the body on to the feet, like so. I did leave the wing, the back of the wing open, because that is going to face the body. So you want to make sure that the wings are the right way. The longer part faces forward. So, and we're just going to glue that right onto the shoulder. So I'm going to take my little bit of glue, put it right there at the shoulder, and I'm going to glue that right on to the side. And do the same thing with the other one. Okay, and now we're going to glue the beak right into the center there. Okay, now with some acrylic paint, we're just going to make a little white dot on the black part of the eyes. Okay, and now we're going to make the little scarf. So I'm going to take my fabric and measure around . Just eyeballing it. And then I'm just going to glue this little button on there. And then last but not least, I always like to put some kind of Christmas decoration on him. So I am going to just add this little holly branch and put it right there by his antler. So we'll glue that on. And there's our little woodland owl wanting to be a reindeer. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you again real soon. Happy crafting!